In this video I'm going to show how we can add H3 output channels to the pod that we configured earlier and then export the data for the CAN database for VISUALCONNX real-time interface to communicate with the carrier that we've set up. So we start in HCU with an existing Hill system file and we go to the subrack, open the subrack view and then open up the pod that we added earlier. To this pod I want to configure channel 8 as the output module. Now this module has already been fitted to this carrier and I need to configure it to be a DSP output, and then I need to tell it where the firmware is and what firmware is fitted. So we browse to the program data add to firmware folder and go to PIC33 H3 DSP COF and open the COF standard Genix model. This is the variant definition that is pre-supplied with the firmware. Again, a block diagram of the hardware will appear and the model is now set. If we now write to the card, then this has written the data to the pod and the two channels that we have configured, channel 0 as an input module and channel 8 as an output module, have been configured with base addresses or base IDs of E000 and E100. All of these settings, once they are in your rack file, will be remembered by the Hill configuration utility, and in fact when you power cycle the system you do not need to write those values to the pods again, because the E2PROM in the I/O modules will also remember their base ID. So having generated our CAN database identifiers, we now need to export this information, and we need to click on the main rack system view, export CSV for CAN, and we need to find the VISUALCONNX GUI. So I'm assuming that your machine that you will be using has the H3 GUI installed. VISUALCONNX applications are to be found under Users, Public Documents, Add to VISUALCONNX, Apps, and if we open that folder, provided your H3 DSP GUI has been installed, you will see this folder, and if we double click that you will see a CAN system files folder, and in there will be your H3 IO list.csv. This CSV contains all the modules in your CAN system, in your CAN based H3 system, and will contain the names of the channels, the ECUs they're connected to, assuming you filled that in on HCU, and also it will contain the base IDs for those channels. So if we open that CSV file and type in H3 configurations and write the CSV file, that file will now be used by VISUALCONNX when it is next run with the H3 GUI and will allow it to communicate with the hardware. So if we now open that folder, this is the Genix DSP folder for the CAN system files. I will now double click on the H3 IO list CSV just to show the contents of that file. And you can see here we just resize things to make it easier to view in Excel. We have the CAN ID, whether it's standard or extended, the name of the pod, channel numbers, whether it is a CITF channel or a COF channel, the I/O type, and this must match for the Hill configuration utility to communicate correctly with it, and for VisualConneX to connect with it correctly. And you can see here where I've filled in the channel name in the HCU. And that's the end of this demonstration.